Hello, this is Stefan. I'm glad you're interested in learning more about the Cinderella Complex, a psychological phenomenon that affects many women in our society. In this article, I will explain what the Cinderella Complex is, what causes it, what effects it has, and how to overcome it. I hope you find this article informative, fun, and engaging. The term Cinderella Complex was coined by Colette Dowling, a journalist and author who wrote a book on women's fear of independence in 1981. The book was titled The Cinderella Complex: Women's Hidden Fear of Independence. Dowling used the analogy of the fairy tale character of Cinderella, who cooks and cleans for her abusive stepmother but ultimately is rescued and taken care of by Prince Charming. Dowling argued that many women have an unconscious desire to be taken care of by someone else, usually a man, and that this desire prevents them from achieving their full potential and happiness. The Cinderella Complex is not a recognized diagnosis by the American Psychiatric Association, but it is a popular concept that has been widely discussed and debated in psychology, sociology, feminism, and popular culture. Some critics have challenged the validity and universality of the Cinderella Complex, while others have supported and expanded on Dowling's ideas. In this article, we will explore some of the different perspectives and evidence on the Cinderella Complex. Dowling suggested that the Cinderella Complex is caused by the socialization of girls and women in patriarchal societies. She claimed that women are taught from an early age to be dependent on others, especially men, for their emotional and physical safety and security. She also claimed that women are discouraged from developing their own identity, autonomy, and competence, and are instead encouraged to conform to an ideal of femininity that is passive, submissive, supportive, and nurturing. Dowling believed that these messages create a fear of independence in women, which manifests as anxiety, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, and avoidance of responsibility. Dowling also argued that the Cinderella Complex is reinforced by the media and culture, which present romantic love as the ultimate goal and source of happiness for women. She pointed out that many stories, movies, books, and songs portray women as helpless victims who need to be saved by men. She also noted that many women's magazines, books, and advice columns focus on how to attract and please men, rather than how to develop one's own interests and skills. Dowling suggested that these cultural products create unrealistic expectations and fantasies in women, which prevent them from facing reality and pursuing their own goals. Some other authors have proposed different or additional causes for the Cinderella Complex. For example, some have suggested that biological factors, such as hormones or brain structure, may influence women's tendency to seek attachment and security from others. Some have also suggested that psychological factors, such as childhood trauma or attachment style, may affect women's sense of self-worth and autonomy. Some have also suggested that environmental factors, such as economic inequality or lack of opportunities, may limit women's choices and options in life. The Cinderella Complex can have negative effects on various aspects of women's lives. Some of these effects are personal. Women with the Cinderella Complex may experience low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, guilt, shame, or resentment. They may also feel dissatisfied with their lives, bored with their routines, or trapped in their roles. They may also struggle with making decisions, setting boundaries, expressing their needs and opinions, or asserting their rights. Relational. Women with the Cinderella Complex may have unhealthy or unhappy relationships with others. They may depend too much on their partners for validation and support, or they may attract abusive or controlling partners who take advantage of their vulnerability. They may also neglect or sacrifice their own interests and hobbies for their partner's sake, or they may lose touch with their friends and family. Professional. Women with the Cinderella Complex may have difficulties or challenges in their careers or education. They may lack ambition or motivation to pursue their own goals, or they may feel intimidated or inferior to others. They may also face discrimination or harassment in male-dominated fields or workplaces, or they may encounter barriers or obstacles to advancement or recognition. Social. Women with the Cinderella complex may contribute to or suffer from social problems or issues. They may reinforce or perpetuate gender stereotypes or inequalities, or they may internalize or accept sexist or oppressive norms or values. They may also miss out on or resist social changes or movements that aim to empower or liberate women, or they may face backlash or criticism from others who oppose or challenge them. The Cinderella complex is not a fixed or permanent condition. It is possible to overcome it with awareness, understanding, and action. Some of the steps that can help women overcome the Cinderella complex are: recognize and acknowledge the Cinderella complex. The first step is to become aware of the signs and symptoms of the Cinderella complex, and to admit that one has it. This can be done by self-reflection, reading, research, or seeking professional help. It is important to be honest and open with oneself, and to avoid denial or rationalization. Identify and challenge the causes of the Cinderella complex. The second step is to understand the origins and influences of the Cinderella complex, and to question and challenge them. This can be done by examining one's personal history, beliefs, values, and emotions, and by exploring alternative or opposing perspectives and evidence. It is important to be critical and curious, and to avoid blame or judgment. Develop and assert one's identity and autonomy. The third step is to create and express one's own identity, autonomy, and competence, and to pursue one's own interests and goals. This can be done by discovering and developing one's talents, skills, passions, and values, and by setting and achieving realistic and meaningful objectives. It is important to be confident and courageous, and to avoid dependence or conformity. Seek and maintain healthy and happy relationships. The fourth step is to establish and maintain relationships that are based on mutual respect, trust, support, and equality, and that enhance one's well-being and happiness. This can be done by choosing partners who share one's values and goals, who appreciate and encourage one's growth, and who treat one with kindness and care. It is also important to maintain contact with one's friends and family, who can provide emotional and social support. It is important to be respectful and caring, and to avoid abuse or control. Participate and contribute to social change. The fifth step is to engage in and contribute to social change that aims to empower or liberate women, or that addresses social problems or issues that affect women. This can be done by joining or supporting organizations, groups, movements, or causes that advocate for women's rights, equality, or justice, or that challenge sexism, oppression, or discrimination. It is also important to educate oneself and others about these issues, and to speak up or act against injustice or violence. It is important to be active and responsible, and to avoid apathy or complacency. 1. What is the name of the author who coined the term Cinderella Complex? A. Colette Dowling. B. Cinderella Dowling. C. Colleen Dowling. D. Colette Darling. Two. What is the main goal and source of happiness for women with the Cinderella complex, according to Dowling? A. Romantic love. B. Career success. C. Personal growth. D. Social change. Three. What are some of the biological factors that some authors have suggested as possible causes of the Cinderella complex? A. Height or weight. B. Genes or blood type. C. Hormones or brain structure. D. Hair or eye color. 4. What are some of the negative effects of the Cinderella complex on women's personal well-being? A. High self-esteem, confidence, happiness, pride, joy, or gratitude. B. Moderate self-esteem, calmness, satisfaction, balance, harmony, or peace. C. No self-esteem, emotionlessness, numbness, indifference, apathy, or boredom. D. Low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, guilt, shame, or resentment. 5. What are some of the steps that can help women overcome the Cinderella complex? A. Ignore and deny the Cinderella complex. Accept and embrace the causes of the Cinderella complex. Suppress and sacrifice one's identity and autonomy. Avoid and end unhealthy and unhappy relationships. Isolate and withdraw from social change. B. Recognize and acknowledge the Cinderella complex. Identify and challenge the causes of the Cinderella complex. Develop and assert one's identity and autonomy. Seek and maintain healthy and happy relationships. Participate and contribute to social change. C. Explore and understand the Cinderella complex. Modify and adapt to the causes of the Cinderella complex. Balance and compromise one's identity and autonomy. Improve and repair unhealthy and unhappy relationships. Observe and support social change. D. Create and invent the Cinderella complex. Generate and amplify the causes of the Cinderella complex. Exaggerate and overstate one's identity and autonomy. Dominate and manipulate unhealthy and unhappy relationships. Initiate and lead social change.